Booyah.
I don't know if I'm in a bad mood. I don't know if I'm overreacting. I don't know if there's too much clickbait around over the past couple of days. You know, people talk about, oh, is the DCEU being rebooted? Is it finally time? Is it finally happening? I would never do those kind of videos, but this is the first one I'm doing, and it's mainly because I'm seeing a lot of stories coming out, some positive, but then there's some negative spins on it. Even those negative spins sound more believable, or they sound a bit more realistic than the positive stories. I could have done like 6-7 videos on this separately on these stories, but I thought I don't have the time for that. I can't give you fake enthusiasm for these stories, so I'm going to rant about it. Let's get started with The Flash. Yeah, you might have heard that Ezra Miller and Grant Morrison are teaming up to write their own script for the Flash movie. Right, now that sounds great news. Oh yeah, you know, the legend that is Grant Morrison, a fellow Scotsman like me. And you know, us Scotsmen should tell you Americans over there how to, you know, write a comic book movie, you know. But the Hollywood Reporter says, Flash shocker, Ezra Miller writing script in bed to stay on as the star of the film. Apparently Ezra Miller's contract runs out in May, in 2 months' time. You're trying to tell me that Warner Brothers, they hadn't bothered to tie down Ezra Miller to a long-term contract? Now it's starting to make sense. Why do you think all these delays have been taking place? Maybe they want him out. Maybe they want his contract to run out, and then that they can say, oh, those directors we got for the Flash movie who wrote the crappy Spider-Man Homecoming, we want them and a new star. Now it's starting to make sense. I hope Ezra Miller stays on. I can't really judge the guy because, you know, he was in that train wreck of a film, Justice League, and it sounds great. You know, Grant Morrison. Everyone loves Grant Morrison, and they're teaming up to write a dark take on the Flash. It's going to have some weight to it. It's going to be multiverse. It's going to be a love letter to the fans, the Flash fans. That's what we want to hear. That's what I want to see it, not just hear it. But then you start looking in, well, this contract's running out, and Warner Brothers have been delaying the start, or the production, the filming for such a long time. It's starting to make sense that maybe they're trying to push him out and get a new star in, and then they can agree to the hope and optimism and all that crap. Next up, who's next on this list? We've got Wonder Woman 1984. The producer says they don't consider the film a sequel, right? Now I know normally you get a lot of producers and directors coming out and they're saying, oh well, it's technically a film in its own right. Just shut up, it's a f***ing sequel, just shut up. And just because it's in a different time frame, it's in the 80s now, you know, doesn't make it not a sequel. You're still going to have, no one is going to go and watch the movie and go, oh, who's this character that Chris Pine is playing? Oh, I don't care. It stands on its own. No, it doesn't. You need to watch the first film to understand who this Chris Pine character is. You might have heard Grace Randolph talking about this not too long ago, saying that the DC, the Warner Brothers, they're going to use elements from the Flash comics and kind of remix it into Wonder Woman 84, and it's going to be some kind of reboot. It's going to reboot the universe or something like that, right? And we all laughed and say, what the hell are you talking about, women? Go away. So we've got Charles Roven. He said, she was just determined that this movie should be the next iteration of Wonder Woman, but not a sequel, and she's definitely delivering on that. It's a completely different time frame, and you'll get a sense of what Diana/Wonder Woman had been doing in the intervening years. But it's a completely different story that we're telling, even though it'll have a lot of the same emotional things, a lot of humour, a lot of brave action, tugs at the heartstrings as well. There they go again. Oh, it's going to have humour, folks. Don't worry, it's going to have humour, because we need to sell comic book movies to stupid people who just want humour in films. You need to tell them in advance, apparently, that there's going to be humour in it, which is the... Anyway. So Charles Roven, you need to just stop talking, just shut your mouth. But the film is over a year away. Why are they saying these things? Oh, maybe because this could be the soft reboot that they wanted. What did Gal Gadot say? She said, "The way we look at this is not a sequel, it's a new chapter. It's a new story." Patty Jenkins jumped in. "I never wanted to do more of anything for the wrong reason. I don't want to go to that place of, how do you keep it going and cash in? In my head, I have these characters that I love, and this world that I love, and we can make a whole new movie that's completely unique and as strong as the first one. Of course I want to do that, but it's not more of anything, even though it's evocative of everything that happened to the first one." Now you can read that, and then you start to have kind of flashbacks to what they were, people were saying, Warner Brothers, DC, they were saying these things about, Justice League is going to be so great, get ready to revise your list. All these things, and look what happened. So that's why I'm even starting to question what Patty Jenkins is saying. Even though I'm looking forward to the film, I'm starting to question, what is this movie going to be, and is it going to have some kind of bigger impact on the DCEU? What's next? We've got The Suicide Squad, directed by James Gunn, right? The next Suicide Squad film will be a total reboot and not a sequel. They're trying to say that, no, Margot Robbie, she's coming back, but it's going to be a reboot. Now, I know we've kind of discussed this, that, oh well, they're going to have different characters, right? They're going to have different characters, so that's why the producers are kind of calling it a reboot, or they're using the wrong terminology. Let's read what the producer had to say, okay? Producer Peter Safran, who's currently on a press tour for Shazam, and we'll get to Shazam later on, but let's stay focused. Peter Safran, he spoke with Joe Blow to confirm the news. First of all, we don't call it Suicide Squad 2, cause it's a total reboot. So, it's the Suicide Squad, and I think people should be extremely excited about it. It's everything you would hope from a James Gunn script, and I think that says a lot, and that promises a lot, and I know that we will deliver a lot. That's a lot of bullshit, if you ask me. These guys hired James Gunn. They brought him in, these idiots at Warner Brothers. I don't know if they know that he was already going to go back to Guardians of the Galaxy 3 for Marvel and Disney. I don't know if James Gunn kept quiet about that during their meetings, but they would look fucking stupid to hire this guy, give him, more control on this movie compared to what David Ayer probably got, only for then James Gunn to go back to Marvel and Disney. Who knows some of the plans that James Gunn knows of Warner Brothers DC films in the future. Yeah, so you've got some more ideas that Marvel can rip off for their upcoming films. So you add to the fact that Idris Elba is playing Deadshot, but you're trying to tell me that Margot Robbie is going to come in as Harley Quinn, and they're going to keep... Now let's move on to Shazam. Yeah, I mean, I was looking forward to Shazam, right? And I'll watch it, I'll still watch it, but rather than watching it 2, 3, 4 times at the cinema as I was kind of planning to, maybe I'll just watch it the once and then do my review and then forget about it. Just the way I used to do with Marvel films. You've probably seen those reactions from the critics about Shazam. You've seen, oh, it's such a fun movie. It's a wish fulfillment. It's self-aware. Well, look, we have Max Avery, right? He saw the film, and this is a tweet that he put out, and it has so much of what we hate critics saying about Marvel films, and now they're saying it about DC. Just got out of Shazam, which is a joyful wish fulfillment fantasy in the big tradition that has just enough edge and a perfect helping of self-aware humour. Great fun. Certain former DC movie directors can learn a thing or two about how to stage a superhero battle from this. Now, if he's talking about Joss Whedon, Loss Whedon, as we should call him, I could understand that. It's very rare, you know, that these critics, they poke fun at Joss Whedon, so most likely they're talking about David Ayer and Zack Snyder, which is kind of strange because everything that I've seen from the action scenes of Shazam, it looks like, you know, as if David F. Sandberg is borrowing heavily from Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, which is a good thing. No, that's what we want to see. But these critics, they can't wait to stick the boot in, because this movie is self-aware and fun, and that suddenly makes it better than what other DC directors have done. These are the idiots that you're going to put your faith in when, you know, searching for reviews and all these things when a new movie comes out. So you take all this information I've given you, all these headlines, these stories coming out over the past couple of days. Got James Gunn, a little snake that he is, going from, apparently he was sacked, yeah, he was fired from Disney. Oh no, it turns out he might have, I think they had it in mind that to just bring him back anyway, all this time. So yeah, Warner Brothers, you played yourself again, like the idiots you are. So you take all this information and it looks like the DCEU is being rebooted. But for some reason, they're still going to keep Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn, Jason Momoa's Aquaman. But everyone else, oh well, there's Ben Affleck's gone, Cyborg, you know, Ray Fisher, he's left hanging for, you know, he's got nothing to do. Ezra Miller, his contract's running out. I hope I'm proved wrong in a lot of these suspicions. I hope they are kind of wiped out and I actually get what I want to see. But it's looking really bleak. Not all bad news, I guess. You want some good news? Matt Reeves says that the Batman is going to start filming at the end of the year. Great news. So guys, are you all in with the new DCEU? Or are you out? Let me know in the comments below. Click that like button, share, subscribe, and of course, smash that notification bell so you know when I upload a new video. Until next time, I'm Shaker, and I will catch you later.